So I just got finished watching the web, and good lord, Tarantulas is creepy! So the original working title of this episode is Cheetor Screws Up, Learns Nothing, Screws Up Again, and then claims to learn something but ultimately doesn't. But the web is just a lot easier to print. This one is a Tarantulas episode disguised as a Cheetor episode, with a bit of a Rat Trap episode in there just for good measure. There's a lot going on here. So this is our first episode of the episodic run of Beast Wars. From here on out, there's only a few episodes that play into the larger plot. See, the episode 2 seeded in things like the aliens, so they got quickly established with their mysterious buildings. But those little bits are what's going to be like the through plot for season 1. Everything else is pretty much character establishment and relationship building. And it can basically be watched in just about any order. It doesn't really affect your viewing experience. This episode in particular is about a recovered mega cannon, which the Predacons come across. Cheetor attempts to stop them and gets a missile straight to the chest for it, basically because he tried to take on the entire situation solo and didn't account for Tarantulas sneaking up and basically being outnumbered. What's interesting to me is that since the war was technically declared at the end of episode 2, this would be the first encounter between Predacon and Maximal that we saw in the series since the war officially began, which means technically the Predacons won the first encounter. The Mega Cannon, aside from being shown set up as a defensive platform, never comes up again. We never hear of this super dangerous weapon for the rest of the series. And it's never used either. So it's just a plot device to give Cheetor something to be like gung-ho and headstrong and, basically being a teenager trying to prove himself. That's basically his character arc, and it will be for the entirety of season 1. And then there is there is Tarantulas. Oh my god. Guys, rewatching this episode makes me believe that Tarantulas is genuinely one of the most underrated characters in Transformers, period. When you talk Beast Wars, you talk about Dinobot, of course. You should be talking about Black Arachnia. But another one that I think falls through the cracks is Tarantulas. We rarely see him come up in new media and new fiction. We are still waiting. Legacy still is supposed to give us a new Tarantulas toy, according to leaks. And it feels like the more I watch Tarantulas, the more I wonder why did he get put on the sidelines? He's such a good character. And this episode really proves that he is sick and demented in this. Like he's talking about eating Cheetor because it's fun, not because of the nutrients, but because he enjoys doing it. Seriously, that is so creepy. Like that's cannibalistic for starters, and then just like he doesn't even like. It's not taste and nourishment. It's just like I enjoy eating other Transformers. Gah, I love how weird and creepy Tarantulas gets, and what we learn about him later on is that it may all just be a guise. He might just be really good at keeping his cover because he's spending so much time making everyone else believe other things about him. When you really dissect it, and we'll do this as we go through the series, he is potentially just one of the most dynamic characters that you'll encounter, just because he's so unpredictable. And this is just our first glance of it. Something else that I kind of like that plays off of the first 2 episodes, there's this weird little rivalry with Rat Trap and Tarantulas. It seems like those two end up fighting a lot, which I don't really mind. They kind of clash. They have an interesting way of clashing. Let's see. So there's a dream sequence in this episode. Cheetor is going to have several dream sequences throughout Beast Wars, and this is the first one we get. And it actually features a lot of interesting things. For starters, it has a full view of Cybertron, the way it looks now, and it's a pretty nice looking place. You remember, Beast Wars characters are way smaller than G1s, so the whole planet would basically have to be rebuilt and reformatted from how it looked in Generation 1. Meaning this is our first look at how Cybertron looks post-reformatting. And it's actually really nice looking. And no complaints or anything. I wish we got to see a little bit more of it. We also, in the dream sequence, also get a cameo of Starscream. And it's interesting for a few reasons. Like, number one, it does give us a glimpse that, yes, they were planning to put Starscream in the show at some point, so because there's elements of him that already exist. But also, it's interesting because we would learn later on that the Maximal Elders classified all the information on Starscream. So how does Cheetor know who Starscream is, or much less what he transformed into? Okay, it's a cameo, it's a dream sequence, but I let me nitpick, okay? It's my review series, I'll do what I want. Yeah, there's a couple weird oddities to this episode. I don't think they've quite established yet that the Maximals are safe from the Energon fields inside the base, so they spend most of the time in the ship in beast mode, which I guess also helps sell toys. Because, you know, when everyone's stuck indoors for the plot of the episode, you can't really, it's hard to, like, get the beast part of the show across when everyone's in robot mode most of the time. So that plays into it a little bit. It's just a weird oddity. It's a weird oddity watching Rhinox lumber in and then just, like, heft himself up on the table and lean on it with his big old hooves. Well, not hooves, but, like, big old feet. You know, it's just a funny scene. Rat Trap in this episode is weird as well. Like I said, this is a Tarantulas episode. It's an excuse to show off Tarantulas and the kind of character he's going to be, but we're basically getting to see the same Cheetor that we saw before. What we get to see different is how Rat Trap has now changed as we've gotten out of his, like, rebellious phase in episode 2. Now he's scolding Cheetor for, like, going outside of Optimus's orders and going off and, you know, making his own decisions in the field. We have Rat Trap even commenting at one time that even Cheetor is not stupid enough to disobey the great Optimus again. You know, paraphrasing, but, you know, it's interesting to me that Rat Trap has made such a turn between episode 2 and 3. So something in that final battle or something about Prime, like, giving him the dressing down, like, really kind of, like, buried it in his head. Like, okay, team player mode. And he does a good job here. Like, I like that he came in rushing to the rescue, but he's still angry at Cheetor for what he did. Properly so. Cheetor screwed up. Again and again. He will continue to screw up and be an impetuous youth for quite a while. It is a good episode. I mean, I do like, I wouldn't call it masterful level. I don't think we're quite there yet. We're going to be here a few episodes before we get to that point. It is definitely an enjoyable episode, though. It highlights Tarantulas really well, gives Cheetor and Rat Trap something to do after episode 2, and really highlights the strength of this show, being able to focus on just a short cast of characters and have the time to give each one, like, episodes of their own so they can grow as characters and we can really get to get a feel for them. So, did all that in spades. I think it's a really strong episode to kick off, you know, like our like discovery of who this cast is. Also, we're at episode 3. I'm still waiting for a line out of Pterosaur. All he did this episode was get to grunt once. We'll get there. Next episode is going to be his turn. But for now, that's my thoughts for episode 3 of The Web. Join me tomorrow. We will be discussing another Beast Wars episode. And they are going to get better and better because that's what Beast Wars does. The show just gets better and better. So remember, hit like and subscribe if you want to know when the next episode is going to come up. Well, you do. It's every evening. But still, if you want to be the first in line, you got to be subscribed. So thank you guys for watching. See you tomorrow. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.